Every day I hold a dagger and attack a tree 2 meters away from a distance. Even in wind and rain, I've never slacked off. Whenever a student passes by, they always look at me with pity. After all, awakening the SSS sniper god talent and getting matched with a C-ranked assassin melee profession, anyone would go crazy. In a world where this game descended globally, having mismatched profession and talent is like sending an archer to wield a sledgehammer. Such SS-level talents are worse than a perfectly matched Earth-level talent. Everyone thinks I've lost my mind. But I haven't gone insane at all. Because the SSS giant god talent has a hidden passive effect. Attack range increases by 2 meters. And with every successful attack range permanently increases by 0.01 meters. Right now I'm calculating the distance precisely. I stab my dagger into the empty air. The thick tree trunk 2 meters away shakes violently. I'm instantly ecstatic. Even melee professions benefit from the base attack range. And there's no projectile trajectory involved. Combined with the sniper god's damage boost, the farther the distance, the higher the damage. Paired with the assassin's stealth backstab, it's laughable this profession is beyond just an assassin. As long as I have enough time to stack the distance, damn it, my attack range could literally cover all humans and objects globally. Taunts and laughter from afar are still clearly heard. My younger brother Mo-yun's laughter in the crowd is especially sharp. I ignore them and head straight to Sister Sue in the corner. You head home first. Tell Chen-yi, don't let him worry. Sister Sue, a reborn person, looks at me, her brows slightly furrowed. One immediately put on novice gear and arrive at the forest outside the city gate. To grow my sniper talent, I must keep making successful attacks. Soon I lock onto a target, a pink rabbit grazing in the distance. I crouch low and move quickly closer. When I'm about 10 meters from the razor-toothed rabbit, with a thought, I activate the forward skill. My figure instantly blurs, blending in with the environment. Even my footsteps disappear. I carefully circle around to the rabbit's rear, stop exactly 2 meters from the target, and halt my steps. The novice dagger in my hand slices through the air silently, and I activate the skill at the same time. The stab deals 150 critical damage. Next moment, the razor-toothed rabbit's neck 2 meters away suddenly bursts with a cloud of blood out of nowhere. -75. A huge crimson number appears above the rabbit's head. The soft-boned rabbit can't even cry out. Its body stiffens abruptly and turns into a streak of white light. Instantly killed. Successfully killed OV soft-boned rabbit. Experience points +10. Congratulations on your first kill. Sniper God talent hidden reward triggered. Attack range permanently increased by 1 meter. Current base attack range, 3.01 meters. So I start hiding and keep swinging my dagger at the air. After a cat demon let out a tragic death cry, system message pops up again. Successfully killed V5 Night Cat Demon. Experience points +50. Congratulations. First cross-level kill accomplished. Sniper God talent hidden reward triggered. Attack range permanently increased by 1 meter. Current base attack range, 4.02 meters. Congratulations, you've reached LV2. All stats increased by 1. Free attribute points +5. Skill points +1. Mo Zhao takes a deep breath, forcibly calming his wildly beating heart. The damage overflow is absolutely insane. A level 5 monster gets insta-killed with a single hit. Even the top combat professions couldn't do much better. What excites him even more is that cross-level kills actually trigger hidden rewards. Another meter added to attack range. Current attack range, 4.02 meters. Now he can kill enemies from over 4 meters away, silently taking out his target. After staying in the dark forest for 3 hours, he obtained a special assassin dagger with 5% bleed chance. And the dagger didn't trigger any other hidden achievements. His level stayed at 5. The EXP from newbie monsters was no longer enough for him. After hundreds of successful attacks, his attack range reached 6 meters. with the forward skill and sniper god talents bonus damage.
He thought for this year's Tianyin City.
Out of all the new players, no one could withstand a single normal attack from him. Mo Zhao places his knight dagger back in the sheath at his waist and strides towards Tianyin City. He urgently needs to return to the city, deal with the miscellaneous materials in his backpack, and get some startup funds to hunt monsters in dungeons. Dungeon entries require tickets. He's completely broke. Can't even access the cheapest beginner dungeons. On the way back, novice adventurers increase on the plains. Most form groups of 3 to 5 and party up, grinding level 1 or 2 soft-boned rabbits and slimes. Watching those waving wooden swords and shabby magic wands, fighting for a single rabbit. All the others are battling furiously. Mo Zhao feels like he's worlds apart from them. This is just a normal rookie beginning. But he already wields a black iron weapon and can one-shot monsters with 400 HP. He ignores the noisy crowd around him, walks straight across the plain. In his mind, scenes from the class transfer square arise uncontrollably. Mo Yun's face, twisted by jealousy and arrogance, showing extreme contortion.
And
those vicious threats whispered in his ear. Stripped young master's title, dead with no place for burial. Mo Zhao slows his steps slightly. A chilling murderous intent flashes in his pitch-black eyes. He never liked causing trouble. For 10 years in the Mo family, he played the role of a nobody. Because he knew well, without absolute power, all resistance is futile. So he endured, and pretended, but that doesn't mean he's a pushover. He has an extremely firm bottom line. Su Wanqing and that not-so-wealthy, but warm family, are his reverse scale. Anyone who dares touch them, he'll cut their hand off. Mo Yun thinks having an A-level talent lets him control everything.
he thinks with the Mo family behind him.
He can decide life or death at will. This spoiled fool has no idea who he's dealing with. Hope you get some brains, and don't come looking for trouble. Mo Zhao's lips curl into a cold smile. Otherwise, I won't mind showing you what true despair means. With his current strength, killing Mo Yun is easier than crushing an ant. But he won't act so easily. The Mo family is deeply rooted in Tianyin City, and their power is immense. But he himself is just a Mo family outcast. Once Mo Yun gets into trouble, the Mo family will definitely cling to him like a mad dog. Even though he's explosive and damaged now, he's still basically a fragile assassin, facing those high-level veteran professionals from the Mo family. He doesn't yet have what it takes to fight them head-on. Staying safe and leveling up is the way to go. Once he grinds his levels in the dungeon, stacks his stats high, and boosts his attack range to terrifying numbers, by then even the entire Mo family together won't be able to withstand his level 1 attack. Mo Zhao concealed the coldness in his eyes. He returned to his gentle and elegant appearance. Mo Zhao walked down the bustling streets of Tianyin City. Shops owned by various professionals lined both sides of the street. He just came out of the trading house. The cat pelts he farmed in the dark forest were in his backpack. He dumped all the cat claws onto the counter. The clerk in charge looked at the pile of bloody low-level materials, his eyes full of disdain. In the end, he only gave Mo Zhao a dozen silver coins. This amount of money isn't enough to buy even the cheapest entry-level dungeon ticket, let alone upgrade any of his gear. But Mo Zhao didn't care. This is just his first seed money. With these dozen silver coins, at least he could buy Kenyu some good food. He stopped by a pastry shop on the way and bought 2 boxes of osmanthus cake, Su Wanqing's favorite. Carrying the boxed pastries, he quickened his pace toward home. Outer city of Tianyin City, a slightly run-down residential area. Most people living here are ordinary folks, or low-level professionals. Mo Zhao had just reached the alley entrance when he heard extremely arrogant shouting. He was extremely familiar with that noise. It was his half-brother Mo Yun. Mo Zhao frowned slightly, slowed his steps, quietly drew near to the Su household. In front of that chipped wooden door, Mo Yun was wearing an extremely flashy flame-patterned luxurious outfit, his face plastered with a self-assumed romantic smile, staring fiercely at Suji standing inside the doorway. Yinger, trust me. I'm definitely right. That loser will never come back again. My men saw him head to the dark forest. That's a wild zone that starts at level 10.
He's just a C-ranked assassin.
With a ruined ranged talent. Going in, there is basically delivering food to the monsters. Right now, he's probably nothing but bones chewed up by nightcat fiends. Besides, you don't need to team up with a loser just because some old lady said something. Especially with a loser, Mo Yu looked full of pride. This afternoon, the City Lord's mansion is organizing a newbie trial dungeon. Team up with me. I have a level 1 talent, Flame Control. And I'm a level 1 Flame Burst Mage. If the two of us team up, it's a super combo. We'll easily take first place, that's guaranteed. Sujina heard this. A chill flickered in her eyes. Are you finished? If you're done, then get lost. The smile on Mo Yun's face instantly froze. He is the second young master of the Mo family, and a ranked Flame Burst Mage. Among all the newcomers in Tianyan City, he's definitely top tier. He came all humble to invite this woman, and she's actually telling him to get lost. Mo Yun forcefully suppressed his anger, patiently kept persuading. Jinger, this is our best chance for the newcomers to shine. Other than you, I'm the strongest professional this year. If we win the City Lord's rewards for first place, I'll give them all to you. If you go with that guy who's destined to be kicked out of the Miao family, what future could you possibly have? The disgust in Su Jinger's eyes grew stronger. He's seen all sorts of things in his past life. This kind of stupid idiot who doesn't know their limits. He finds it filthy just to even glance at them. I told you to get lost. Do you not understand human language? Su Jinger's tone turned completely cold, leaving not the slightest room for compromise. Her repeated merciless refusals finally exhausted all of Mo Yun's patience. His fake sentimental act instantly tore apart, revealing his twisted, arrogant, true nature. Su Jinger, don't play dumb with me. Mo Yun suddenly stepped forward. Red flames danced at his fingertips. You think awakening dual SSS ranks makes you unbeatable? A genius that hasn't grown up means nothing. Don't forget, your mom, Su Wanqing, is still struggling in Tianyan City. Believe it or not, if my dad just wiggles his fingers, you and your mom wouldn't even survive in this city. Then you'd have to crawl to me. Before he could finish his last word, a terrifying killing intent surged in Su Jinger's icy eyes. A terrifying murderous aura rose suddenly. The air around seemed to drop to freezing point at that moment. Everyone has a reverse scale. Su Wanqing is his. Su Jinger's absolute reverse scale. He couldn't protect his mother in his previous life. But in this life, anyone who dares threaten him with his mother, he'll make sure they die without a whole body. Just as Su Jinger prepared to channel spatial elements, to directly twist off this idiot's head, a chillingly cold voice suddenly rang out in the alley. If you've got guts, repeat what you just said. The sudden interruption made both Mo Yun and Su Jinger freeze. Mo Yun quickly turned his head, looking toward the direction the voice came from. When he saw the familiar figure standing 10 meters away, his eyes nearly popped out. Mo Zhao, you useless loser, are actually alive? Mo Yun looked like he'd seen a ghost. A place like the dark forest. Even he wouldn't dare go alone. How did this loser come back alive? He was puzzled, but quickly went back to acting arrogant. Say it again. Fine, I'll say it again. If my dad just moves his finger. Mo Yun couldn't even finish his sentence. Mo Zhao directly raised his right hand and gave a fierce slap toward the air. The sharp sound didn't even get a chance to ring out. A loud and crisp slap landed squarely on Mo Yun's left cheek. Mo Yun didn't even have time to react. He just felt an overwhelming force hit his left cheek without warning. The force was ridiculously strong. Mo Yun's feet left the ground. His entire body spun like a broken kite, did a full 360 in midair, crashing hard onto the stone road 3 meters away. Mo Yun spat out a mouthful of blood, mixed with a few broken teeth. For a moment, the whole alley was dead silent. The two cronies following Mo Yun were completely stunned. They rubbed their eyes, totally unable to believe what they just saw. How did their young master suddenly go flying? Su Jinger was also stunned. He slightly furrowed his delicate brows. A clear look of shock flickered in his icy eyes. Obvious astonishment. He watched it happen just now, clearly. Mo Zhao didn't even get close to Mo Yun. They were at least 5 meters apart. Mo Zhao just casually waved his hand. There was no sign of any skill being used. There wasn't even the slightest elemental fluctuation. Not a single trace was left in the air. Mo Yun looked like he was swatted by some invisible giant hand, sent flying out of nowhere. What kind of bizarre attack is this? He reached the top in his previous life, witnessed countless strange skills and talents, but he had never seen such a completely illogical ranged physical attack. Mo Zhao ignored everyone's shock.
He walked slowly to his doorstep.
Turned his head to Su Jinner, and showed a gentle, apologetic smile. Sorry. Because of my matter, I caused him to bother you. Leave this idiot to me. Go inside and get some rest. Su Jinner gave Mo Zhao a deep look. The young man before her still carried that gentle, jade-like demeanor. But just moments ago, the ruthlessness and strangeness that burst forth felt extremely unfamiliar to her. He didn't say anything more, just silently nodded his head. Stepped back inside the door, but his eyes never left Mo Zhao. He wanted to see what sort of secret this so-called good-for-nothing was hiding. At this moment, Mo Yun, who'd been slammed to the ground, finally caught his breath. The intense pain twisted his face completely, clutching his badly swollen left cheek.
He crawled up off the ground, his mouth full of blood.
Mo Zhao, you bastard! Mo Yun roared hysterically, his eyes blood-red, like a wild beast gone mad. You dare sneak attack me? What cheap trick did you use? He didn't believe this was Mo Zhao's power. How could a C-rank assassin possibly hurt him from that far away? It had to be some kind of single-use rare item. I'm going to kill you! Today I swear I'm killing you. Mo Yun had completely lost his mind.
He clapped his hands together fiercely.
Level 1 talent, Flame Control, activated at full force. Scorching fire element gathered wildly in his palms, and a fireball the size of a basketball formed instantly, radiating an extremely dangerous heat. This was a basic kill move for a blazing mage. If it hit, even a knight the same level would lose a layer of skin, let alone a squishy assassin. Die. Mo Yun roared, about to hurl the fireball at Mo Zhao. Mo Zhao's gaze turned icy cold. He stood where he was, not even trying to dodge.
He just raised his right hand again,
and casually backhanded another slap in the air. The crisp sound echoed through the alley again. This time it landed on the right side of his face. Mo Yun didn't even get a chance to throw his fireball before it broke apart in midair. Fire elements scattered chaotically in the air, instantly disappearing without a trace. That terrifying invisible force at a distance smashed hard into his face again. Mo Yun was sent flying once more. The entire place fell silent. His two lackeys' legs were shaking uncontrollably, too scared to even help him up. If the first time was a sneak attack, just a trick, then what about this time? Mo Zhao was still 5 meters away, still with that casual gesture, but it was deadly precise and brutally violent, interrupting a great mage's spellcasting. How can anyone call this guy a useless assassin? Mo Yun lay on the ground, his head buzzing. He hadn't even seen how Mo Zhao struck, much less where the next attack would come from. Don't come any closer, Mo Yun mumbled indistinctly, blood spraying from his mouth. He scrambled backwards on all fours, eyes full of sheer terror. Just you wait. The Mo family will never let you go. You're dead. You and Su Wanqing are both dead. Mo Yun spat threats, while his lackeys helped him up, and they all scrambled out of the alley. The 3 of them staggered as they ran outside. Mo Yun even lost one of his shoes, but he didn't dare stop to pick it up, afraid Mo Zhao would smack him out of nowhere again. His retreating figure couldn't look more desperate, not even daring to look back. The alley became quiet again. Mo Zhao casually dusted off his hands, turned around, meeting Su Jinner's extremely complicated gaze. Su Jinner hesitated for a moment. He sized Mo Zhao up and down, trying to spot any flaw. How did you do that just now? Su Jinner finally couldn't hold it in, and voiced his nagging question. No energy waves, no preparation moves, not even a weapon involved. 5 meters away. Yet you slapped a great mage twice in the face. This It completely shattered everything he knew about how this world works. Facing Sujinner's rare look of curiosity, Mo Zhao couldn't help but smile a little. Is that really so hard to understand? He spread his hands and answered as if it was the most natural thing. My talent is sniper god. Isn't long-range attacking totally normal for me? After lunch, Mo Zhao and Sujinner walked side by side towards City Hall along the street. Noon sunlight poured onto the cobblestone road. Market vendors on both sides shouted their wares nonstop. The two walked side by side, but kept a full half-meter between them. The atmosphere felt a bit tense. Sujinner walked on the inside, and, in a glance, the young man next to him still looked so gentle and refined. Nothing like the ruthlessness he'd shown in the alley when he slapped Mo Yun twice. Without meaning to, he recalled, Mo Zhao standing in front of his door. Even though he didn't need that protection, that sense of being firmly defended by someone, for him someone who struggled alone, for 10 years in the apocalypse, was pretty novel. Sujinner's usually cool eyes softened slightly, and he finally broke the silence. For this afternoon's trial, join my team. Sujinner's tone was still cold, carrying the air of someone of high status. Out of respect for my mom, I'll help you clear the test, and maybe help you get a good score too. In Sujinner's mind, this was already giving a background character the biggest favor possible. Double SS ranked genius Dai Fei. That's what anyone in Skycloud City would only dream of for their rookie year. Mo Zhao turned, looked at Sujinner gently, and answered bluntly, no need, I'm fine on my own. Sujinner was stunned. His finely shaped eyebrows furrowed slightly. He even wondered if he had heard wrong. Do you even know what you're talking about? You're just a C-rank assassin, and your talent totally clashes with your class. Soloing a dungeon? Are you planning to go in there to die? Mo Zhao didn't explain. He simply looked away politely. He had a clear plan in his mind. Seeing Mo Zhao's unyielding attitude, a hint of surprise flashed in Sujinner's eyes. But then, as if something occurred to him, is this guy just worried he'll drag me down? After all, he's destined to become the top double SS grade genius. Mo Zhao is just a loser everyone in the city laughs at. If the two of them teamed up, Mo Zhao wouldn't be of any help at all, and would just be an obvious burden. At least he's self-aware, and doesn't want to cause trouble during the trial. He also doesn't want to embarrass him in front of the whole city. Thinking of this, Sujinner's opinion of Mo Zhao rose slightly. At least this cannon fodder knows how to behave. He knows his place. He didn't use his mother's favoritism to shamelessly cling to him. Since he's so sensible, when the comparison system activates tomorrow, after getting the newbie gift pack from him, I can just give him more resources later, as some compensation. It should be easy to turn him into a little prodigy. This can count as repaying him for speaking up for me this morning. Both were lost in their own thoughts, and soon arrived at the huge square in front of the city lord's mansion. The place was already buzzing with noise. The entire city, thousands of rookie adventurers who just finished their class change, had all gathered here. The crowd was packed so tightly on the square that not even water could pass through. Everyone's faces were filled with nervousness and excitement. This is the first real test of their lives. The moment Sujinner entered the square, the originally noisy crowd fell silent for a moment. Then, heated discussions erupted everywhere. Look, it's Sujinner, our Cloudsky City's double S level peerless genius. She's so beautiful, her aura is just unbeatable. If I could team up with her, even if it was just for a second in the instance, I'd totally do it. Countless awed and admiring gazes were all focused on Sujinner. She was like a queen on a lofty pedestal, enjoying everyone's utmost worship. And as for Mo Zhao walking next to Sujinner, he naturally became everyone's center of attention as well. But those stares were full of unabashed contempt and ridicule. Isn't that the loser young master from the Mo family? How does he still have the nerve to walk beside the goddess Su? SS-level superhero talent, teamed up with a C-rank melee assassin. That's the biggest joke of the century. Heard the Mo family is about to kick him out. If trash like that goes into an instance, he probably won't survive the very first wave of monsters. Sharp ridicule poured in from all directions. Sujinner frowned slightly. He really didn't like being watched like a monkey in a zoo. He glanced at Mo Zhao, expecting to see humiliation or anger on his face. But Mo Zhao remained as calm as ever. This abnormal composure made Sujinner's confusion grow even deeper. Near the edge of the crowd, a few toadies were flanking a battered figure. It was just this morning that Mo Yang got slapped twice in the face by Mo Zhao. Now Mo Yang was wearing an exaggerated baseball cap, trying to hide his bruised, swollen face. He glared at Mo Zhao in the distance, hatred nearly pouring out of his eyes. "Young master, that loser's over there. Should we go over?" One of the toadies sidled up and fawned. "Get lost." Mo Yan suddenly kicked the lackey. The movement tugged on his wounds, making him suck in a sharp breath from the pain. He gritted his teeth hard and didn't dare make a move. That freaky slap trick from this morning had left a deep psychological shadow. Before figuring out what kind of dark magic Mo Zhao actually used, he absolutely wouldn't tempt fate again. "Just keep an eye on him." Mo Yan spat out the words indistinctly. "Once we're in the dungeon, find a chance to kill him. I don't believe he can keep spamming those cheap tricks forever." Right at that moment, several powerful presences suddenly descended from the platform above. The City Lord's mansion executives took their seats in turn. Leading them was a muscular middle-aged man clad in heavy armor. He exuded authority without anger. An overwhelming aura instantly swept across the plaza. The noisy plaza fell deadly silent in an instant. The middle-aged man took a step forward. His booming voice echoed to every corner of the square. "All you Cloudsky City's next generation of professionals, today is the day to prove yourselves. The newcomer trial dungeon will begin now. This trial can be attempted solo or in teams. I'm sure you've already chosen your teammates, so I won't go into details here. Monsters are dense within the dungeon, and it's extremely dangerous. But the rewards are also substantial. The top 10 in trial points rankings will receive extra rewards from the City Lord's mansion." As his speech ended, a brilliant blue light erupted from the center of the square. A colossal teleportation formation over 100 meters in diameter began to rise slowly. Intricate runes intertwined in midair, emitting mysterious spatial waves. That was the gateway to the trial dungeon. "The trial begins now." Hearing this, Sujinner furrowed his delicate brows, a hint of contemplation flickering in his cold eyes. That is Xius Grey God Sniper talent. Of course he'd heard of it in his last life. It's an extremely rare archer skill that relies on distance to rack up damage. It can even turn close-range attacks into long-range ones. That was the last thing he expected. But Sujinner's confusion lasted only a moment, before disappearing completely. A bland indifference took its place. So what if you can hit people from afar? An assassin's glass cannon stats, with a career ceiling visible at a glance. That kind of forcibly extended attack range definitely comes with extremely harsh conditions. No way. That attack range can just keep increasing forever, right? These flashy tricks are nothing in the face of true, absolute power. Not even worth a joke. He's destined to be the queen of space, ruling everything. A double SS rank, the absolute top tier. A slightly mutated C rank assassin isn't even worth feeling threatened by? Thinking this, Sujinner nodded slightly. He didn't ask another word, directly turning around and heading back to his room. He closed the wooden door behind him with a casual slam, making a dull thud. Back in his room, Sujinner walked to the window, gazing at the shabby street below. With a thought that system panel only he could see floated up again. A clear countdown ticked toward tomorrow's comparison battle. Comparison target Mo Zhao, currently rated at extremely low combat power. Looking at the glaring red text on the panel, Sujinner's contempt only grew. Clearly the system never messes up even if his attack range increased. A loser's nature doesn't change. He was already planning ahead. After getting the first win reward, which high-level Cloudski City instance to grind in. No matter what weird tricks this Mojao has, in tomorrow's comparison fight, he'd be crushed by absolute strength. And the newbie gift pack would be his. The moment Sujuner shut his door, in the alley outside, Mojao was just about to push the door open and enter. The chipped paint door next to them was suddenly yanked open from the inside. Su Wanqing rushed out quickly in her slippers. She obviously heard the commotion in the alley just now, especially that extremely harsh line from Mo Yun. Went to the dark forest. Su Wanqing at this moment didn't even bother to maintain her usual composed and elegant demeanor. Her eyes were reddened. She strode over to Mojao in just 2 steps and grabbed his ear without any mercy. Ouch! Mojao immediately tilted his head to cooperate. His body bent down half a notch accordingly. Are you out of your mind, kid? Su Wanqing's fingers were trembling. Her tone was filled with uncontrollable fear and anger. It's just your first day after changing jobs. And you dare to go outside the city alone, even going to the dark forest. Do you even know what kind of place that is? That's a wilderness zone for level 10 and above. You're just a rookie who just awakened, without even a party member. Are you out there delivering takeout for the monsters? The more Su Wanqing spoke, the angrier she got. Her grip subconsciously tightened. She twisted it hard. Are you trying to scare me to death? If anything really happened to you in there wouldn't even be a whole body left. How am I supposed to explain to your deceased mother? Mojao's face was full of embarrassment. Just now in the alley, when he slapped Mo Yun twice, that extremely cold and domineering vibe had disappeared completely at this moment. He could only hunch over, hands hovering over his ears, very obediently admitting his mistakes again and again. Qingyi, I was wrong. I really messed up. I only walked around the outskirts. Didn't dare to go deep. Please let go first. My ear's about to fall off. In the whole Tianyan city, the only person he would willingly bow his head to and admit his mistakes is none other than the woman in front of him. Even now, he's a resin monster who can one-shot elite creatures. But in front of this woman, he's just a kid who made a mistake. For years, Su Wanqing raised him on her meager income, barely getting him through life. This kindness, Mojao had long engraved into his very bones. Su Wanqing pulled on his ear, scolded him for a full 5 or 6 minutes, until her mouth went dry. Finally, with tearing eyes, she let go. She carefully looked Mojao over, nervously checking him all over. Are you hurt anywhere? Any bleeding? Did any monster catch you? Mojao quickly spun in place twice, even jumped up a couple times, showing off how healthy he was. Really, I'm fine, Qingyi. See, not even a scratch. I'm fast. Those monsters couldn't even touch me. He wasn't lying. Those monsters really couldn't touch him. After all, his attack range now has reached an incredible 6 meters, together with the stealth skill's concealment effect. Even level 5 or level 7 elite monsters never even saw his shadow before he dispatched them from a distance with a single strike. His current stat panel, plus that black iron grade night dagger. Even if he runs into a level 10 monster, he's got absolute confidence he can get away safely. But he can't tell Su Wanqing any of this. Not until he's strong enough to topple the Mo family completely. Laying low and developing is the safest option. He doesn't want Su Wanqing involved in any danger. After confirming Mojao was completely unharmed, without even a scratch, Su Wanqing's nerves finally relaxed. She let out a heavy sigh, her eyes full of concern and helplessness. Zhao Su Wanqing reached out and helped tidy up his somewhat messy collar. Her tone softened greatly. I just heard about your situation from Jinger. Your talent doesn't match your job. That's all right. We don't need those empty titles. Being an ordinary person is fine. Tianyan City is so big. There's always a place here for us mother and son. From now on, stay in the city with Auntie. Find a stable job. Stay safe and sound. That's better than anything. Mojao listened to these words, flooded with a strong feeling of warmth. In this data-driven, strength-based cruel world, only Su Wanqing truly cares about his life and death. Others only care if he can soar high. Only Su Wanqing worries if he'll hurt when he falls. He looked at the fine lines at Su Wanqing's eyes and gently shook his head. Qingyi, don't worry. Mojao spoke with extreme sincerity, his clear eyes full of determination. My situation isn't nearly as bad as people say. Although there's some conflict between my job and talent, I've actually found a few ways forward. I'm not saying I'll become some top powerhouse one day, but at least I can absolutely take care of myself. He paused, a gentle smile appearing at the corner of his mouth. Once I make some money, I'll definitely be able to support you. By then we'll get you a bigger house, so you won't have to work so hard anymore. Hearing these extremely sincere words, Su Wanqing was stunned for a moment, then rolled her eyes at him with a bit of annoyance, complaining mockingly, "You little rascal. It's just your first day after changing jobs, and you're already planning so far ahead, talking about supporting me. How about you just take care of yourself first?" She reached out and poked Mo Zhao's forehead. "Stop daydreaming all the time. What's most important right now is getting ready for the rookie trial organized by the City Lord's mansion this afternoon. Even if your profession isn't great, as long as your trial score is decent, graduating is still pretty easy. Learn some life skills. There's another way forward. This afternoon's rookie trial is something every job changer must go through. Monsters in the beginner dungeon are dense and full of experience. It's critical for widening the level gap. What Mo Zhao needs most now is experience.
It's basically
A leveling paradise tailor-made for him. Go wash your hands. I bought your favorite dishes. After you eat, get some rest. Head to the trial this afternoon. Don't mess it up, Mo Zhao replied with a smile. Okay, got it.
He lifted the beautifully packaged osmanthus cake in his hand.
And handed it over like a treasure. King Yi, I bought you some osmanthus cake from that old shop in the south of the city. Su Wanqing took the box. Her smile couldn't be hidden anymore. You finally showed some conscience. She turned and opened the door, put the osmanthus cake on the old wooden table in the living room. Mo Zhao followed her inside and closed the door behind him. The worn wooden door completely shut out the noise of the alley. As the middle-aged man's words faded, the giant teleportation array in the center of the square suddenly burst out with dazzling blue light. Complex runes spun rapidly through the air. Intense spatial fluctuations swept over the entire plaza in an instant. Thousands of rookie professionals didn't even have time to react before they were completely engulfed by that blue light. The noisy square suddenly fell silent at this moment. It was completely deserted. Only spectators from various factions remained in the stands. The teleportation process was brief. Mo Zhao felt his world spin for a moment. The intense sensation of weightlessness disappeared almost instantly. When he opened his eyes again, the scene before him
Had changed drastically.
The bustling crowd was gone. So were the streets paved with blue stone. Instead, he found himself in a dense, primitive jungle. Mo Zhao looked around. A hint of joy flashed in his dark eyes. A jungle terrain. For an assassin, this was simply the perfect natural hunting ground. The intricate trees and bush provided plenty of cover. Here, his movement skills would reach their greatest effect. Combined with his exaggerated attack range, now up to 6 meters, he could move unnoticed and silently take any monster's life. His luck really was superb. Just then, a cold mechanical voice suddenly rang out in Mo Zhao's mind. Ding! Welcome to the Tianyan City Novice Trial Instance. Miss Jungle. This trial will use a points system. All participants have been randomly teleported to the outer area of the instance. Defeating monsters inside the instance will earn corresponding points. The higher the monster's level and grade, the more generous the points earned. Moving from outer to inner regions, monster levels will increase. At the very center of the instance lurks a level 10 iron-class boss. Defeating the boss will grant a huge point reward and rare drops. Trial time, 3 hours. When your HP drops to 0, you will be forcibly teleported out. Trial ends. Points reset. Good luck, everyone. After hearing the system prompt, a sharp golden light flashed in Mo Zhao's eyes. Random teleportation meant he didn't have to worry about running into other players immediately. He could freely unleash his skills without concern. The deeper he went, the stronger the monsters became, which was exactly what he wanted. Those low-level monsters at the outskirts were a complete waste of time for him. After all, he was now level 5. Only by hunting higher-level monsters could he gain abundant experience and points. As for the level 10 boss leopard, Mo Zhao's lips curled up slightly. That was basically a walking stash of experience and gear. He definitely couldn't miss out. With a thought, he opened the system's built-in instance map. On the map, most areas were shrouded in gray fog. Only the small area where he stood was lit up, indicating his position. At the center of the map, there was a prominent red skull icon, clearly marking the boss location. Mo Zhao didn't hesitate at all. He immediately reached into his backpack and pulled out the night dagger he'd gotten in the dark forest. Time to get to work. Mo Zhao flexed his wrist. He suddenly pushed off with his feet, shooting forward like an arrow released from a bow, quietly heading deeper into the jungle. As Mo Zhao moved deeper, the surroundings grew darker, and the air was thick with a stronger scent of decay. He cautiously slowed his steps, ready to use his detection skill at any moment. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks. His sharp gaze stared intently at a colossal tree not far ahead. On that thick trunk coiled a giant python as thick as a barrel. The python's entire body was covered with hard green scales, blending perfectly with its surroundings. If Mo Zhao hadn't had keen perception, he wouldn't have noticed it at all. The python's cold eyes were locked right on Mo Zhao. Its crimson tongue flicked quickly in the air. Mo Zhao didn't panic at all. Calmly, he raised his hand, his fingertips twitching, and instantly activated his detection skill. A pale blue virtual panel popped up in front of him. Azure Python level 6 HP, 350. Skills, Constrict and Venom Spray. Attack, 30, Defense, 15, Agility, 8. Looking at the data on the panel, Mo Zhao's mouth curved into a smirk. My XP boost is here. The Mind Python clearly sensed Mo Zhao's presence as well. Its massive body quickly slithered across the tree trunk. Suddenly, it opened its huge, bloody maw. A putrid venom shot out like a pillar of green water, aimed straight at Mo Zhao's face. Mo Zhao's gaze remained calm. He casually stepped to the side. The stream of venom narrowly grazed his clothes and flew past, landing on the grass behind him. The intense corrosiveness instantly turned that patch of grass into a pool of black water. Acrid white smoke rose up, just as the azure scale python was about to launch a second attack. Mo Zhao's figure mysteriously vanished on the spot. Advance activated. A clear trace appeared in the python's cold jungle thicket. It thrashed its body wildly. Its crimson tongue flickered crazily, trying to catch the prey's scent in the air. But it was all in vain. By now, Mo Zhao had already silently maneuvered to the side and rear of the giant python, precisely stopping at exactly 6 meters away. This is the current sniper talent range. That activates the highest damage boost at max distance. He steadily raised his night dagger. The pitch-black blade in the dim jungle didn't reflect any light. The stab skill was instantly triggered. Mo Zhao's arm muscles tensed violently. Gripping the dagger, he viciously slashed at the air ahead. Under the sniper talent's absolute hit rule, he instantly crossed the 6-meter gap, cutting through the azure scale python's prized, tough scales. The next moment, an exaggerated blood-red number suddenly appeared above its head. 865 terrifying damage. Instantly wiped out the python's 350 HP bar. Its violent struggle came to an abrupt end. The massive body crashed stiffly to the ground and turned into specks of white light dissolving into the air. Mo Zhao calmly walked forward and skillfully swept the loot into his backpack. He glanced at his slowly growing XP bar and frowned slightly. 60 XP for his current goal of leveling to 6, needing 2,000 experience points. It's nothing but a drop in the bucket. He only got a measly 6 points. Way too slow, Mo Zhao grumbled discontentedly.
He decisively closed the panel and ignored
any low-level monsters hiding around, swiftly changed direction, and sprinted full speed toward the center of the map, at the striking red skull, dashing at top speed. Deep in the misty forest, the mist headwolf obviously didn't have the patience to guess what this human was thinking. It scratched the ground irritably with a front paw and let out a deep, threatening growl. The next second, its huge body suddenly tensed, All four limbs tensed together. Gale thrust was initiated in an instant. The mist head Wolf turned into a streak of bluish lightning, crossed more than 10 meters in an instant. Its maw opened with a reeking stench and lunged straight at Mo Zhao's throat. It was so fast. It even caused a sharp howl in the air. Faced with this deadly attack, Mo Zhao's eyes didn't waver at all. He lightly took half a step back and mentally focused. The advanced skill triggered instantly. Mo Zhao's outline turned ethereal for a split second, then melted completely into the thick gray fog around them. The mist head Wolf, missing its target, clumsily slid for several meters and forcibly screeched to a halt. It looked up in confusion, its crimson eyes filled with human-like bewilderment. Where's the prey? The human just standing there. How did he suddenly vanish into thin air? It thrashed its massive body in frustration, sniffing frantically at the air, trying to lock onto the prey that had disappeared out of nowhere. Of course, Mo Zhao wasn't giving it that chance. He lowered his center and stepped lightly. His whole body moved like a ghost, circling steadily behind the mist head Wolf, perfectly, stopping exactly 6 meters behind the head Wolf. Mo Zhao focused his mind, and instantly, a new skill he learned at level 5 appeared on his panel. Newly acquired skill. Panel. Weak point exposure. LV1. Pinpoint enemy's weak spot. Next attack guaranteed to crit. Critical damage boosted by an extra 20%. Effect expires immediately after hit. Cooldown. 60 seconds. Looking at this overpowered skill description, Mo Zhao's lips curled into a cold smile. Without this skill, Mo Zhao wouldn't be confident facing this beast. But with a guaranteed crit,
He might be able to one-shot it.
at the exact moment when Mo Zhao was about to strike, behind this clearing, less than 30 meters away in the dense brush, 5 heads nervously peeked out. Following the directions from the gold-level scroll, Mo Yan and his 4 cronies had stalked their way here. At that moment, the 4 cronies all had their eyes wide open, their eyeballs practically popping out of their sockets. They stared fixedly ahead, at the mist head Wolf, whose size rivaled an adult buffalo. Their legs shook uncontrollably. Damn, what is that monster? One crony carrying a shabby greatsword whispered in a hushed, shocked voice, his tone full of terror. Detect magic scroll says. That's a level 10 Iron Tier elite monster, Mist Head Wolf. Another crony holding a staff kept gasping in shock. Is this guy insane? He's a level 5 C-ranked assassin, and he's actually picking a fight with an elite monster like that. If that Wolf even brushes him, he'll be dead on the spot. The group of cronies whispered among themselves, looking toward Mo Zhao with eyes that held the gaze you'd have for someone doomed. In their view, Mo Zhao was simply asking for death in creative ways. However, Mo Yan, who was squatting up front, looked fanatical. This guy's really gotten himself killed. This is the godsend opportunity I've been waiting for. Mo Yan rubbed his hands excitedly, his eyes flashing with malice. So what if it's a level 10 Iron Elite? Others might fear it, but Mo Yan doesn't. Not to mention he awakened the level talent, Flame Mastery. His damage output is incredibly high. More importantly, he's currently the most favored young master of the Mo family. The top 10 rewards from the City Lord's trial. Every regular adventurer is fighting to get them. But in his eyes, those rewards aren't even rare. Even a small portion of the Mio family's treasury is 100 times better than those rewards. He really doesn't care about trial rankings. He entered this instance today for one reason only: to kill Mo Zhao. Mo Yan smugly patted his storage bag at his waist, then, showing off, pulled out a scarlet scroll radiating violent fire energy. You guys don't know anything. See this? Gold tier skill scroll, Meteor Firestorm, right here in Young Master's backpack. But it's packed with life-saving trump cards from my family elders. Just these single-use high-level skill scrolls alone, there are quite a few of them. Don't even mention a mere level 10 elite monster. As long as I want to, even that boss in the core area of this dungeon, the boss, I could straight up kill him with a scroll if I wanted to. Mo Yan's words carried an arrogant confidence. That's the absolute confidence of a pay-to-win player. When they heard this, the 4 lackeys' eyes lit up immediately. Most of the fear in their hearts instantly vanished. Young Master, you're awesome. The young master really has deep resources. So what should we do now? Just use a scroll and blast that Wolf and that loser into pieces together? The lackey with the greatsword moved closer and offered his idea obsequiously. Mo Yun gave him a disdainful glare. Idiot. Just killing him outright would be too easy on him. I still have to settle the score from this morning when he humiliated me in front of everyone. I'll collect every bit of it back with interest. Mo Yun waved his hand, signaling the people behind him to quiet down. He squinted his eyes maliciously, staring intently at the battlefield ahead. Vicious plans spilled from his lips. He had already come up with countless ways to torture Mo Zhao. He'd even thought of the lines Mo Zhao would beg for mercy with, all in his mind. We're just gonna hide here and watch the show for now. Once that loser Mo Zhao is almost killed by this guy, when he's about to get torn apart alive, that's when we make our shining entrance. The more Mo Yun talked, the more excited he got. He could hardly hold back a loud laugh. Then I'll step in as the hero, pull Mo Zhao out of the monster's mouth, and make him watch as he crawls at my feet like a dog. Then we'll slowly torture him to death. I'll make him experience what true utter misery really means. After hearing Mo Yun's twisted plan, the lackeys all gave him a thumbs up and started flattering him enthusiastically. Young master, that's genius. Destroy the body and heart. That's true psychological devastation. Let that loser die in utter despair. Young master, you're so brilliant. That loser isn't even worthy to carry your shoes. While these guys were hiding in the bush, imagining their wonderful daydreams, suddenly something strange happened on the battlefield up ahead. The Alpha Wolf, unable to lock onto its prey's scent, completely lost control and went berserk. It raised its huge head, opening its massive, fanged jaws wide, and let out a thunderous roar from deep in its throat. The violent sound waves shattered the surrounding mist. Just as Mo Yun and his crew were startled by the roar, they all looked over in unison, ready to enjoy the gruesome scene of Mo Zhao getting shredded by the monster. Something bizarre happened. Mo Zhao's figure seemed to step right out of thin air, already behind the Alpha Wolf in the mist. Even though there was a full 6 meters between them, from Mo Yun and the other's perspective, it looked like Mo Zhao was right up against the Wolf's back. When did that loser get around there? Mo Yun's pupils shrank sharply. A bad feeling welled up in his heart. Before he could get the words out, Mo Zhao was already moving. Weak spot. Detection activated. Backstab activated. Mo Zhao's magic power was instantly drained by more than half. 100 mana points evaporated in an instant. His gaze was cold and focused. The muscles on his right arm tensed sharply as he gripped that black iron-level night dagger and slashed it down, brutally at the empty air in front of him. No flashy magical effects, no earth-shattering aura, just an ordinary slash. Mo Yun and the others in the bush were completely stunned. They didn't even see what had happened. They only saw that loser from far away, wave at nothing in the air. What the hell is this idiot doing? Is he trying to hit a target from afar? The lackey holding a staff sneered contemptuously. However, before the sneer could fully spread across his face, it froze completely. Because in the next second, a piercing wail suddenly erupted from the open grounds ahead. That once imposing level 10 black iron elite, Mist Alpha Wolf, that massive body as large as a buffalo, was struck by some kind of invisible, terrifying blade. Right on target. Its tough, bluish-black fur burst apart instantly. Gushing streams of foul-smelling fresh blood sprang out like a fountain. Right afterward, an exaggerated, purplish-red critical hit. Damage number suddenly appeared above the Mist Alpha Wolf's head. 1,695. Behind a hidden thicket on the outskirts of Mistwood Jungle, Mo Yun, with 4 lackeys, all about level 5, were sneaking around here. His face was still swollen perfectly symmetrically. That utterly humiliating pain made his hatred for Mo Zhao reach the extreme. Young master, are we just going to farm monsters out here? A lackey holding a shoddy staff crept forward and spoke in an extremely flattering tone. The monsters on the outskirts don't give much XP, but they're safer. Young Master Lin, your Tier 1 talent. Getting into the top 10 is no problem at all. Mo Yan suddenly turned his head and glared maliciously at that lackey. Farm monsters my ass. Young Master is here today for this dungeon, but it sure as hell isn't for some stupid trial ranking. I just want Mo Zhao, that useless piece of trash. Dead, Mo Yan growled through gritted teeth, pulling at the wounds on his face. The pain made his facial muscles twitch uncontrollably. But young master, this Mistwood jungle is huge. How are we supposed to find that loser? Another lackey carrying a greatsword hesitantly asked. Plus, dungeon teleportation is all random. He could be sent to any obscure corner. Mo Yan tugged at the corner of his mouth, revealing a ferocious expression. Do I really need to find him myself? As he spoke, he carefully took from his backpack a scroll radiating a faint golden glow. Covered in intricate runes, it emanated a powerful magical aura. Seeing this scroll, all four lackeys gasped sharply. That's an Omnitrack scroll. Young master, that's a gold-grade consumable. Isn't it a waste to use it on a loser? Mo Yan snorted disdainfully. As long as I can take him out, not just one gold scroll. I'd use 10 if needed.
He used all those dirty tricks against me this morning.
If I don't skin him alive, I'll write my name backwards. Mo Yan didn't hesitate at all, gripped the scroll with both hands, and tore the precious gold-grade scroll clean in half. Buzz! A subtle invisible ripple spread out from Mo Yan's position, rapidly expanding in every direction. In the next moment, before Mo Yan's eyes, the system map that had been shrouded in gray mist suddenly changed dramatically. The mist was swiftly cleared away. Countless tiny red dots lit up across the map like stars, and every dot was clearly labeled with each contestant's name. Found you. Now let's see where you can run. Mo Yan stared intently at the map, his eyes scanning quickly across the dots. After searching for just a moment,
His gaze
locked firmly onto a single isolated dot near the center of the map. That solitary dot had Mo Zhao written next to it. Watching Mo Zhao's movement trail on the map, Mo Yan's expression twisted wildly. That loser actually dares head toward the center. Does he really think he's invincible? The central region is full of monsters level 8 and up. Even I don't dare go there lightly. Mo Yan excitedly licked his lips, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Looks like this loser wants to try his luck in the center. Maybe he's even eyeing that level 10 boss leader. What a joke. Suddenly he turned around, waved at the four lackeys. Mo Zhao, I found you. Follow me, today, right here in this dungeon. We're going to settle this embarrassment for the Mo family. The four lackeys immediately drew their starter weapons, following right behind Mo Yan like lapdogs, heading quickly toward the spot where Mo Zhao was on the map, closing the distance fast. Meanwhile, deep inside Mistwood jungle, Mo Zhao moved like a shadowy assassin, darting between tangled branches and bushes at high speed. Along the way, he casually took out 2 level 7 armored beetles and 1 level 8 venomtail scorpion, his XP steadily climbing, getting closer to leveling up to 6, just as Mo Zhao was about to reach the red skull zone marked on the map. A sudden sense of danger exploded in his mind without warning. It felt like he'd been locked onto by some top predator, unable to escape its sight. Every hair on his body stood up, without hesitation. Mo Zhao didn't even have time to think where the danger came from. His body responded purely on instinct, stopping his forward charge cold. His legs pushed hard. He rolled sideways onto a patch of ground covered in corrosive goo. Almost simultaneously as he rolled away, a massive blue shadow shot out like a cannonball, whistling through the air with a reeking wind, crashing violently into the spot he'd just been. Boom! A heavy crash rang out. That blue shadow, wildly, slammed into a towering tree behind Mo Zhao, its trunk thick enough for 2 people to grasp. The hard wood was snapped clean in half by that terrifying impact. Wood chips flew everywhere, and leaves rained down all around. Mo Zhao quickly steadied himself, dropped to one knee, his nightshade dagger instantly at the ready across his chest, his pitch-black eyes sharply locked onto the cloud of rising dust ahead. As the dust cleared, a giant blue wolf, as big as a full-grown buffalo, proudly stepped out from the shattered tree debris, its entire coat an eerie shade of bluish-black, each hair bristling like steel needles. 4 powerful muscular paws, sharp claws driven deep into the soil. Most terrifying of all were its blood-red eyes, gleaming with savage, bloodthirsty light. At this moment, the massive blue wolf turned its head, glaring down at Mo Zhao from above. In those blood-red eyes, a hint of almost human astonishment flashed by. It seemed genuinely surprised that such a weak-looking human had managed to dodge its carefully prepared killing blow. In its mind, a prey of this level should have been torn to shreds by that attack and left in pieces. Mo Zhao stared calmly at the massive creature. Even his breathing became steady. He didn't flinch at all. He lifted his left hand directly. His fingertips moved slightly. Basic detection skill activated instantly. A pale blue virtual panel appeared. It immediately unfolded before Mo Zhao's eyes. Rows of detailed data popped up. Mist Alpha Wolf. Elite level HP. 1200 attack. 110 agility. 35 defense. 35. One of the guardians of the Misty Forest Master. Possesses terrifying speed and burst power. Extremely cunning. Specializes in ambushing prey within the mist. Looking at the exaggerated stats on the panel, Mo Zhao couldn't help but swallow hard. These numbers are just outrageous. This is definitely, at this stage, every rookie adventurer's nightmare. With Mo Zhao's current 100 HP and 9 total defense, if the Mist Alpha Wolf's claws even grazed him a little, his health bar would instantly hit 0. He wouldn't even have a chance to be saved. With such high agility, no wonder he almost couldn't dodge earlier. Mo Zhao secretly complained to himself. If it were another rookie team, even 10 or more people together, facing this level 10 Iron Elite, it would definitely end in a team wipe. But there was no fear in Mo Zhao's eyes. Instead, a burning excitement rose up. High risk means rich rewards. A level 10 Iron Elite monster, if he manages to defeat it above his level, the EXP and trial points would absolutely launch him forward. Not to mention, this is a rare chance. Who knows how crazy the system's bonus for hidden achievements will be. So what if you can one-shot me? Mo Zhao calmly waved his shadow dagger in his hand. As long as you can't touch me, you're just a huge bag of EXP. Minus 1,695. Blood-red critical hit numbers slowly faded mid-air. The massive Mist Alpha Wolf didn't even have time to let out a cry. Its bull-like body suddenly froze stiff, then collapsed with a thundering crash like toppling a mountain, stirring up a cloud of foul-smelling dust. Perfect kill. LV10 Mist Alpha Wolf Elite. Gained 1,000 experience points. Over-level bonus. 500 experience points. Congratulations on your first kill of a level 10 elite monster. Hidden reward triggered. Sniper talent. Attack range permanently increased by 2 meters. Current base attack range, 8.03 meters. Received equipment, Gale Wolf hide boots, Lanya necklace. Received skill book, Sealing fabric. Congratulations, your level has risen to LV6. All stats +1. Free stat points +5. Skill point +1. Mo Zhao looked at the waterfall of updates on his panel. His heartbeat skipped a beat. Is this the benefit of killing an elite monster above your level? This is insanely lucrative. 1,500 EXP. Instantly bumped him up to level 6. Mo Zhao suppressed his excitement. He casually added all 5 free stat points to agility. With a simple wave, he swept all his spoils into the system backpack. Then he slowly turned around. His jet-black eyes locked precisely onto the thicket 30 meters away. You've been spectating for so long. Isn't it time to pay for your ticket? Mo Zhao's tone was calm, but carried an icy chill that made anyone feel frozen. The brains of the 4 henchmen 30 meters away were now totally shut down. They couldn't process this absurd scene at all. That was a level 10 Iron Elite, with a terrifying 1,200 HP. They couldn't even get its info without using a detection scroll. And yet it was one-shot by a level 5 assassin. 1,600 damage. Can a key-class assassin even deal such numbers? The henchman holding the staff screeched, his voice going sharp. He couldn't even hold his weapon anymore. It clattered to the ground. Mo Yu, crouched at the front, was now trembling violently. His swollen face was pale as paper, completely devoid of color. An overwhelming fear gripped him like an invisible giant hand, tightly choking his throat. He finally understood how he took those 2 slaps this morning. This wasn't some cheap trick. This was Mo Zhao's own strength. This guy that everyone in the city laughed at as a loser was actually a monster disguised as an assassin. Run, run. Mo Yan scrambled up from the ground in a panic. He crawled and rolled, trying to escape deeper into the fog. Right now, there was only one thought on his mind. The farther away from this monster, the better. However, how could Mo Zhao possibly give them a chance to escape? He suddenly pushed off with his feet. His whole body shot out like a cheetah. 30 meters of distance was nothing before his impressive 45 points of agility. He closed it in an instant. In just a few breaths, Mo Zhao was already within 8 meters. This was now his absolute kill range. Can you escape? Mo Zhao's eyes were cold. He didn't even bother using a skill. The passive skill of the sniper alone was enough.
He simply raised his right arm,
Gripping the shadow dagger, aiming toward the front. At the thug with the greatsword who was still running full throttle, he casually slashed forward. An invisible blade instantly crossed the 8-meter gap, striking the thug's back with precision. A huge red number jumped out, -660. The guy didn't even get the chance to scream. His health bar dropped to 0 in an instant. His body instantly turned into a flash of white light, forcibly teleported out of the instance. And the contestant was killed. All their current points were seized. 12 points. The system notification made Mo Zhao raise an eyebrow. So killing people can drop points too. That's way faster than running all over the map grinding for monsters. Mo Zhao lifted the corners of his mouth into a dangerous smirk. He didn't pause. His arm moved in quick succession. 2 more flashes of white light followed one after another. The other 2 thugs were also instantly killed, just like the one before them. In the blink of an eye, the 4 helpers Mo Yan brought with him were whittled down to just the mage with the staff. That guy was completely scared out of his mind. He fell to the ground, crawling and rolling, hugging his head in desperation, wailing in utter despair. Don't kill me. It was all Mo Yan who forced us. Please, I beg you, let me go. Mo Zhao didn't even glance at him. A white flash struck again with a casual swing. The world grew quiet again. By now, Mo Yan had already run more than 10 meters away. He heard all the commotion behind him and mustered up the courage to look back. What he saw nearly scared the soul out of him. 4 level 5 class players were all wiped out in just a matter of seconds. And Mo Zhao was calmly walking behind him, holding that blood-dripping dagger as if on a stroll. The distance between them remained at a deadly 8 meters. Mo Zhao, don't force me. Mo Yan finally broke down. He stopped in his tracks, suddenly spun around, and raised that red scroll emitting intense fire energy like mad. It was a gold-tier skill scroll, Meteor Flame. If you dare come any closer, I'll take us both down with me. Mo Yan roared hysterically, trying to use this last trump card to bargain for his life. Mo Zhao stopped walking. He looked at the priceless scroll in Mo Yan's hand and shook his head in pity. Are you stupid or something? You're a level 1 mage. Don't you know it takes time to channel a high-level scroll? Mo Yan's pupils contracted sharply. Before he had time to react, Mo Zhao had already raised his left hand. Smack, a crisp slap, exploded abruptly in the open space. Mo Yan felt a burning pain in his left cheek as a terrifying invisible force spun him half a circle in place. The meteor flame scroll flew out of his grip, tracing a beautiful arc through the air. The scroll landed precisely at Mo Zhao's feet. Mo Yan clutched his swelling face again, staring blankly at the scene before him. His last trump card was now gone. Mo Zhao bent down and picked up the gold-tier scroll. He casually brushed off the dust on it. This thing is wasted in your hands. Guess I'll reluctantly take it for you. Mo Zhao calmly tossed the scroll into his backpack, then looked up, his eyes icy as he stared at Mo Yun. This morning you said you wanted both Qing Yi and me dead with no place to be buried. Mo Zhao spoke as he slowly moved a step forward. Smack. Another harsh, invisible slap. You also said you wanted me crawling like a dog at your feet. Mo Zhao took another step forward. Smack. Mo Yun rolled pathetically on the ground twice. His health bar was now more than half gone. At this point, Mo Yun wasn't even able to beg for mercy anymore. All he could do was hug his head in despair, curling up on the ground in pain. Mo Zhao walked up to within 2 meters of Mo Yun, looking down at him condescendingly. This once arrogant member of the Mo family, second young master, remember this feeling. This is only the beginning. There was no pity in Mo Zhao's eyes. He casually raised his right foot and kicked Mo Yun hard in the chest. Bang! Mo Yun's chest caved in immediately. His health bar went to 0. A blazing white light instantly enveloped him. Mo Yun's body quickly faded away in the white light, forcibly teleported out by the rules of the instance. Killed a contestant and seized all their current points. 45 points. Mo Zhao looked at the spot where Mo Yun vanished, coldly withdrawing his gaze. Idiots like that weren't even worth using his dagger on. He turned around, found a secluded spot, and opened his backpack, going over his loot. Gale Wolf leather boots, bronze tier, agility plus 15, defense plus 5, additional effect, movement speed plus 10%, Wolf Fang necklace, black iron tier, constitution plus 5, spirit plus 5. Looking at the stats on those 2 pieces of equipment, Mo Zhao's eyes lit up. Those are pretty good stats. 15 points of agility was practically a mini god tier item for him. Without saying much more, Mo Zhao put them on right away. Feeling the immediate boost from the gear, Mo Zhao felt a wave of satisfaction. His gaze then went to his system backpack, to the ancient tome glowing with a faint blue-green light. In this data-driven world, the drop rate for skill books was insanely low. Most ordinary class players, even in their whole lives, could only scrape by with a few basic skills that the system automatically unlocked when leveling up. If you wanted powerful extra skills, you either spent a fortune at the market or just had to rely on dumb luck. Never expected to get such a rare item, just by casually defeating an elite monster way above my level. Mo Zhao eagerly took out that Gale Step manual from his backpack. The moment his fingertips touched the cover of the ancient book, a pale blue attribute panel instantly appeared right before him. After Swift Step LV1 was activated, movement speed was instantly increased by 100%, and a shadow was left behind at the original spot. The shadow can attract monsters aggro. The shadow lasts for 3 seconds. Consumes Blue Wolf every second, 2 NPCD for 30 seconds. Status skill. This is 100 times more valuable than any attack skill. 100% movement speed bonus. Combined with his already exaggerated agility stats, once he activates Swift Step, putting everything else aside, at least in this misty jungle, even facing off against that leopard head-on, Mo Zhao wouldn't be afraid. What surprised Mo Zhao even more was the shadow mechanism. For an assassin, this 3-second aggro transfer is simply a god-tier method for survival and counterattack. Mo Zhao didn't hesitate. He suddenly applied force with both hands. That supply item glowing with a spooky blue light instantly dissolved into countless, complex runes that flowed into his body through his palm.
Ding.
Congratulations, you have successfully learned the Black Iron skill Swift Step LV1. The system notification chimed crisply in his mind. Mo Zhao clenched his fists in satisfaction. With this skill, he can move through the misty jungle with absolute confidence. However, just as he was immersed in the joy of his power rising sharply, a furious wolf howl suddenly tore through the jungle's silence. The commotion didn't come from a single direction, but from directly ahead, the left and the right rear. All exploded at the same time. The excitement on Mo Zhao's face instantly vanished. His pitch-black eyes narrowed sharply. His sharp gaze quickly scanned the gray mist around. The surrounding shrubs began shaking violently. Heavy footsteps pressed down on the thick, decaying leaves, making a painfully grating sound. Three massive black figures as big as adult water buffaloes slowly strode out of the dense mist. Their blue-black fur stood upright like steel needles. Their sturdy limbs dug deep trenches into the earth. Three pairs of crimson vertical pupils radiated cruel and bloodthirsty ferocity, locked firmly onto Mo Zhao standing in the middle of the clearing. The appearances and sizes of these three monsters, even the terrifying pressure emanating from their bodies, were exactly the same as the misty head Wolf that he just killed with a single slash. Exactly the same. Three level 10 black iron elites. They formed a triangle formation, skillfully blocking all of Mo Zhao's escape routes. Seeing this, Mo Zhao's heart couldn't help but beat twice rapidly.
He was indeed a bit startled.
A single level 10 elite monster. He could easily kill it with critical hits and distance tricks. But with three appearing at once, the situation was completely different. These guys have agility as high as 35 points. If they all launch swift thrust at the same time, he wouldn't even have space to dodge. Mo Zhao's mind was spinning rapidly. Only then did he suddenly remember earlier, when he used probe on the first Misty Head Wolf. That line of introduction on the panel. One of the guards of the Misty Jungle Lord. Since it's one of the guards, that means there must be more than one guard. Level 10 boss. The boss security system is really pretty solid. They actually arranged 4 whole black iron elites to guard the gate. If it were any other rookie team, even a group of dozens coming here, would be instantly torn apart by these 3 giant beasts. But after a brief shock, Mo Zhao's emotions quickly returned to absolute calm. Mo Zhao didn't hesitate at all. He directly summoned the skill panel in his mind. His gaze quickly scanned the skill list. Without a moment's hesitation, he immediately invested 5 skill points, all in his forward skill. The forward skill that was previously LV2 instantly burst with a dazzling aura. Forward LV3. Stealth mode. Completely eliminates your presence and footsteps. Greatly reduces the chance of being detected by enemies. The first attack made during stealth mode will deal an additional 50% damage. Lasts 120 seconds. Attacking will end stealth mode. Consumes 20 MP cooldown, 10 seconds. Looking at the upgraded stealth panel, Mo Zhao nodded with satisfaction to himself. The remaining 5 skill points, Mo Zhao didn't hesitate at all. He invested them all into his newly learned Gale Step. As an Iron Tier skill, it takes exactly 5 skill points to upgrade LV1 to LV2. Once Gale Step LV2 was activated, movement speed instantly increased by 200%. A lifelike afterimage was left behind. Afterimage can 100% attract all monsters aggro within range. The afterimage lasts for 5 seconds. Consumes 5 MP per second. Cooldown, 20 seconds. Movement speed bonus doubled again. And afterimage duration was extended to 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Enough for him to safely decapitate the 3 dumb wolves from 8 meters away. Slice the heads off these 3 dumb wolves, one by one. Skill points added. Mo Zhao closed the virtual panel and slowly exhaled a deep breath. He flipped the pitch-black night dagger around and gripped it tightly. The cold blade gleamed in the dim jungle, radiating a dangerous killing intent. The 3 mist head wolves had clearly lost patience. They let out deep growls from their throats. The muscles in their hind legs suddenly tensed up. On their dark blue fur, violent elemental energy waves surged. The 3 massive beasts launched Gale Rush simultaneously, turning into 3 blurs of blue lightning. With their giant bloody mouths open from different directions, they lunged ferociously at Mo Zhao. The stench-filled gust of wind instantly sealed off all space around Mo Zhao. If it were any ordinary person, faced with such a deadly situation, they wouldn't even have time to close their eyes and wait for death. But Mo Zhao wasn't the slightest bit flustered. Just as those 3 huge fang-filled bloody mouths were about to tear through his throat in a split second. Gale Step. Mo Zhao calmly muttered the skill in his heart. His mana was instantly deducted. In that moment, he became an afterimage faster than the eye could see, instantly escaping the wolves' encirclement. And, at the spot where he had just stood, an afterimage identical to him quietly stayed in place. The 3 mist head wolves violently collided with each other, Their sharp fangs slammed into the afterimage. The afterimage rippled like a wave, but did not dissipate. The wolves were driven completely berserk. They viciously ripped at the afterimage in front of them, never realizing that their real prey was now behind them. Mo Zhao kept his gaze fixed at the upper right corner, where his mana ticked down constantly. Using 5 points every second is no joke. This Gale Step is powerful, but it eats up mana too quickly. As a C-tier assassin, he only has 200 MP. He had to end this quickly. No time to drag out the fight. Mo Zhao's eyes were cold. He reversed his grip on the night dagger instantly. He stood behind the 3 crazed mist-head wolves. At a distance of 8 meters, he launched a backstab. Mana was instantly deducted. 5 invisible blades, radiating deadly intent, spanned the 8-meter gap immediately, and ruthlessly struck the leftmost Volf, slashing into its back. A gush of bright red blood burst forth. A huge red number popped up above the Volf's head. -1224. The struck mist-head Volf didn't even have time to cry out in pain. Its massive body suddenly stiffened, then collapsed heavily to the ground, turning into a shower of light and vanishing. Mo Zhao looked at the shocking damage amount. He felt a surge of joy. He truly hadn't expected that his damage would be this high now. He killed the first Volf instantly, with weak point detection, guaranteed to crit. And just by using backstab, he could do such massive damage. From attack to kill, it all took less than half a second. The other 2 mist-head wolves finally realized something was wrong. The scent of a fallen comrade snapped them out of their frenzy as they tore at the afterimage. They suddenly turned their heads, their blood-red pupils locked fiercely onto Mo Zhao 8 meters away. Angry roars burst from their throats. Both massive beasts arched their bodies, ready to launch a counterattack. Mo Zhao didn't even spare them a glance. He nimbly stepped back, activated stealth. Mana was deducted by 20 points again. Mo Zhao's form blended instantly into the thick gray mist around him, disappearing without a trace. Not even minor breathing or footsteps were detectable, thanks to the system's rules. The 2 mist-head wolves immediately lost their target. They spun wildly in place, their sharp claws gouging deep pits in the ground. With that terrifying 200% Gale Step speed boost, Mo Zhao himself moved like a ghost invisible to the naked eye, instantly circling behind the rightmost Volf, maintaining that 8-meter safe distance, using stealth. With plus 50% extra damage from the Shadow Breaker first hit, the Night Dagger struck again, unleashing invisible violent blades, ruthlessly attacking the vital point of the second Volf. /1224. This second Volf met the exact same fate as its companion. Another massive corpse crashed to the ground, dying instantly. In just a few short seconds, 3 level 10 Iron Elite Wolves, strong enough to wipe out any beginner party, were down to only 1 left. There was only the final Mist-Head Volf remaining. The lone Mist-Head Volf was completely stunned. Its not-so-developed brain couldn't grasp what was happening before its eyes. No enemy closing in, no magical energy detected. Its 2 companions had died mysteriously right in front of it. Such unknown, terrifying tactics utterly crushed its animal ferocity. It began to howl in fright, its blood-red pupils overflowing with fear. It didn't even dare think about vengeance for its fallen comrades. Its 4 powerful limbs kicked off. It spun around in panic and bolted frantically toward the deepest part of the mist forest, fleeing at top speed. So fast that it was even quicker than when it launched Gale Rush. Trying to escape, Mo Zhao's lips curled into a cold smile. How could he let a free XP package get away? He burst forward with explosive force. The Gale Step boost hadn't worn off yet. Mo Zhao shot forward like an arrow, easily catching up. His speed was twice that of the Volf trying to escape. He kept the distance at about 8 meters. Mo Zhao swung his dagger at the Volf running ahead, casually slashing with the blade. Slice 2,448 critical hit. The Mist-Head Volf stumbled mid-run, its massive body thrown off by inertia. On the ground covered with rotten leaves, He rolled awkwardly for more than 10 meters, crashing through several sturdy trees, and finally stopped moving altogether, disappearing as little white lights fading into the air. Continuous system notification sounds were frantically popping up in Mo Zhao's mind. This rocket speed leveling up is honestly addictive. 3 level 10 elite monsters directly gave him 4,500 experience points, not only letting him easily reach level 7, but even filling 1/8 of the next level's experience bar. His trial points also surged by 300 instantly. However, the loot this time seemed pretty disappointing. Aside from a couple dozen silver coins and several flawless Azure Volf pelts, there were no equipment drops or skill books at all. Not even any hidden distance rewards triggered. It was clear the system is generous with rewards for killing a monster by hand for the first time. But after that, the drop rate returns to the usual stingy level. Mo Zhao wasn't too concerned. His current gear and skill setup in this novice trial were already way above average. He casually opened his attribute panel and assigned the 5 free attribute points he just gained decisively all to agility. In martial arts, speed is everything. As long as he's fast enough, combined with his absurd attack range, he's the undisputed ruler of this jungle. Right after Mo Zhao allocated his points and was about to venture deeper into the jungle, a glaring red system notification panel suddenly appeared right in front of him. New warning: you have consecutively killed 4 mist-head wolves. You have acquired the special status, Wolf King Hatred. Mo Zhao frowned slightly. This was the first time since entering this world he'd encountered a warning-type notification. He immediately clicked on the icon showing that Scarlet's status. Status name: Wolf King Hatred, cannot be dispelled. Status description: you have ruthlessly slaughtered all loyal guardians of the Mist Jungle's ruler. Your body is drenched in Het Wolf blood. You have completely enraged the absolute dominator of this jungle. Effect: once you enter the Wolf King's detection range, the Wolf King will immediately lock onto your location and go into a terrifying berserk state. All attributes increase by 30%, and it won't rest until one of you dies. Staring at those blood-red words, Mo Zhao felt numb all over. His original plan was to quietly approach the boss using forward and wind step, silently sneak up right next to the boss, then make use of his 8-meter attack range, and whittle down that level 10-liter boss bit by bit. It was honestly a flawless, safest tactic, but now this random hatred status completely messed up his plan. Once he enters detection range, he'll be instantly targeted. This means the forward skill against the Wolf King will probably be totally ineffective. What's worse is the berserk state, with a huge boost to all stats. The level 10 leader already had insane boss stats. Add a full boost to all attributes. That level becomes monstrous. Mo Zhao stood frozen, reaching up to rub his temples, feeling a headache coming on. This Wolf King hatred mechanic is honestly an unreasonable thug setting. All attributes increase by 30%. How are you supposed to play like this? Any other newbie, seeing those red warning words, would probably crush their teleport scroll and drop out immediately. But Mo Zhao, after a brief speechless moment,
His dark eyes
snapped back to icy calm. Quitting is simply out of the question. This is his first boss encounter ever. Even with hatred, being targeted means forward is useless, so he can only face it head-on. With his current agility and wind step, even if the Wolf King boosts all its stats, he should be able to maneuver. As long as he stays faster and doesn't get hit, his 8-meter ridiculous attack range will let him completely dominate. No matter how much you boost your stats, you're just a bigger XP bag. Mo Zhao tightened his grip on the night dagger in his hand. He took a deep breath, then proactively headed toward the center of the map, toward that conspicuous red skull marker. Meanwhile, in another part of the misty jungle, Su Jinner took graceful steps, strolling leisurely through the leaf-littered forest. Her stunningly beautiful face showed no expression. Her cold eyes revealed an untouchable indifference. The surroundings were harsh, but the white newbie cloth armor she wore wasn't stained with a single speck of dirt. Just a dozen meters ahead of her, a herd of massive wild boars covered in tough spikes charged at her, eyes red with fury. They were stampeding toward her like maniacs. This pack of rampaging iron tusk boars was over a dozen strong. When they ran, the entire ground shook violently. Any five-man newbie squad, faced with a beast swarm of this size, would have no choice but to flee in panic. But Sujinner didn't even pause her steps. She didn't even bother to pull out the newbie staff given by the system. She simply raised her fair right hand. Her slender fingertips tapped gently in the air. A mysterious spatial ripple spread outward from her fingertip as the center, instantly expanding. The boar at the very front, its enormous body suddenly froze. The space around it unexpectedly twisted severely out of nowhere. It was as if some invisible giant hand folded the entire area where it stood by sheer force. Crunch, a chilling sound of bones shattering, rang out abruptly. That level 8 iron tusk boar didn't even have time to scream. Its entire body was compressed by the violent spatial force into a mess of mangled flesh. A clean one-shot kill, no flashy special effects, just pure, ultimate spatial crushing. This is the double, terrifying power of SS-level talent and class. It's also the greatest asset of the once peak Space Empress herself. Her greatest reliance. Even though she's only level 5 now, even though her mana pool is pitifully low, her understanding and control over spatial elements have already reached the pinnacle. She doesn't need to chant spells like other mages, suffering through incantations. Just a thought, and space bends to her will. This is truly a dimensional crushing. Sujinner's gaze was cool and calm. Her slender fingers flicked through the air repeatedly. Blades of almost invisible, translucent spatial cutters instantly tore through the air, precisely slicing into the boar herd. Those tough, thick-skinned level 8 monsters, in front of her spatial blades, were as fragile as paper. Her steps never paused, and she continued forward, stepping over the blood and torn flesh. In her previous life, during the apocalypse of the Abyss invasion, she faced world-shattering demon gods, whose movements destroyed entire cities. Now, these low-level monsters in newbie dungeons are barely even weeds compared to her. Just a bit of surface spatial power is more than enough to wipe them out completely. In less than 30 seconds, the entire pack of rampaging iron tusk boars was wiped out. The ground was covered in mangled corpses. System notifications rang out one after another in Sujinner's mind. She glanced at her experience bar, now level 5. A bored look appeared on her flawless face. Too weak. These monsters aren't even a warm-up to her. She didn't even use 10% of her power. This newbie trial that attracted the whole city seemed as childish as playing house in her eyes. If it weren't for the city lord manor's resource tilt and her urgent need to restart this trial, she wouldn't even bother to sign up. Sujinner moved her mind slightly and pulled up the trial leaderboard. She casually glanced at it, getting ready to check out her once leading gorgeous stats. In just half an hour, she plowed through the dungeon, killed dozens of level 8 monsters above her level. Her killing efficiency was so ridiculous, it should leave the second place in the dust. But when her gaze landed on the name at the top of the leaderboard, her chilly eyes narrowed suddenly, and she was stunned on the spot. First place, Mo Zhao. Score, 485 points. Second place, Sujinner. Score, 320 points. Sujinner's delicate brows furrowed tightly. She even suspected whether the system had glitched. Mo Zhao, the citywide laughing stock, the SS-level long-range talent, paired with a C-level melee assassin, what a joke. How could he possibly be first? And his score is 165 points higher than hers. How is that possible? Sujinner stared hard at that name, her mind racing with possible explanations. Could it be the Mo family gave him some overpowered mob-grinding item? Impossible, the Mo family abandoned him long ago. Mo Yun, that idiot, wishes he'd die in the dungeon, so there's no way they'd help him. So how did he do it? Sujinner took a deep breath, forcing down her shock. She recalled in detail Mo Zhao's performance at school. Even though he was invisible at home, in school theory and combat simulation classes, he always ranked among the best. His combat IQ and timing mastery were flawless. Plus, the complicated terrain of the misty jungle, thick shrubs, dense fog. It's basically tailor-made for assassins. A natural hunting ground. Sujinner nodded thoughtfully, a glimpse of understanding flashing in her cold eyes. That must be it. Assassins have stealth skills, easily avoiding monster aggro. Mojao definitely exploited the terrain, hiding in the outer zones, targeting only those level 1 or 2 low-level monsters, one-shot killing them, then escaping immediately. The low-level monster points might be pitiful, but as long as you kill enough, with ultra-high farming efficiency, stacking up points is just possible. Thinking of this, Sujinner curled her lips in a scornful smirk. Just showboating. A score built up from killing low-level monsters is meaningless. This kind of intense grind drains stamina. Once he collapses from exhaustion, she have outpaced his points tenfold. Besides, the real jackpots in this dungeon are those high-level elite monsters and the boss leopard in the very center. Just killing one boss monster grants massive bonus points instantly. That's what really decides the winner. Mojao C-level assassin. Even if he had 100 guts, he'd never dare step foot in the central zone. Sujinner closed the leaderboard panel carelessly and stopped paying attention to that. A name destined to be trampled under his feet. He looked up.
His gaze pierced through the thick fog.
Accurately locked onto the very center of the map, where the absolute ruler of this jungle resides. A level 10 Iron Tier boss leader. That is his true prey. Sujinner took long strides. Her pale boots stepped on decomposing leaves, without making a sound. She looked like a queen high above everyone else, exuding absolute confidence and arrogance. She walked straight toward the depths of the misty jungle. Once she took first place in the trial, tomorrow's new player gift pack for the battle system would be hers too. Everything was under her control. No one could stop her from returning to the top. To reach the summit, center of the misty jungle, edge of the clearing, deep within the crowns of towering ancient trees, Mojao was holding his breath, perfectly hiding his figure among the dense branches and leaves. His pitch-black eyes peered through the gaps in the leaves, fixated on the open clearing ahead. There is where the red skull mark is on the map. No extra weeds in the center of the clearing. Only a gigantic Volf, its size beyond imagination, quietly lurking in the gray mist. Its size is even larger than those mist Volf leaders from before, by a whole margin. Its fur is a deep dark black. Even if just lying there silently, that terrifying pressure feels almost tangible as it washes over you. Mojao didn't hesitate at all. He raised his left hand. His fingertips twitched slightly. Basic detection skill activated instantly. Name: Mist Volf King Panther. Level 10 HP 3200, attack 220, defense 75, agility 75. Description: Misty Jungle. The true ruler. Same age as the Mist Volf leaders. Possesses strength and speed far beyond ordinary elites. Looking at the string of exaggerated stats on the panel, Mojao couldn't help but gasp. He had already prepared himself mentally. He knew the boss leader's stats would be overpowered. But this was just insane. Everyone is level 10. All are Iron Tier. Yet this Volf King's stats are way higher than those elite Mist Wolves. If this Volf King so much as grazes him, he'll die instantly on the spot. Not even a chance to be rescued. Mojao was secretly calculating the beast's base stats in his mind. Although its agility is high, it doesn't surpass his by much. With the added movement speed from the Gale Volf leather boots, and the 200% burst from Gale Step, he still holds absolute advantage in speed. As long as he doesn't get touched, he can kite it from an 8-meter attack range. This Volf King is really just a torch with more HP. However, just as Mojao was quickly strategizing in his mind, in the middle of the clearing, that Mist Volf King, originally resting with its eyes closed, suddenly flared its huge nostrils twice. The Mist Volf King abruptly opened its eyes. It didn't even search around. Its massive head twisted at a bizarre angle. Scarlet gaze pierced through the dense fog, perfectly locking onto the towering ancient tree Mojao was hiding in. The venomous and murderous look in its eyes made Mojao's hair stand on end all over his body at that moment. He'd been found. Mo Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He hadn't expected that deadly Wolf King aggro status on him would have such a wide range. Right now, the Mist Wolf King slowly stood up. It raised its head, opened its jaws full of fangs, unleashing a deafening roar from deep in its throat. The furious sound waves swept out like a real force, instantly dispersing the surrounding mist. Even the giant tree hiding Mo Zhao was shaken violently by the roar. The system's notification sound blared crazily in Mo Zhao's mind. Ding Wolf King's aggro is locked in. Target confirmed. Mo Zhao Miss Wolf King has entered Berserk mode. All stats increased by 30%. Fight to the death. Mo Zhao stared at the Wolf King's body, watching the sudden blood-red aura and numbers surge up. He couldn't help but twitch violently at the corner of his eye. HB 4160. Seriously. The boss goes berserk right at the start. Before Mo Zhao could even come up with a response, the sky inside the dungeon suddenly darkened without any warning. A booming, cold mechanical voice, like thunder, erupted across the sky of the entire misty jungle dungeon. The announcement not only reached Mo Zhao's ears, but also clearly entered the minds of every contestant in the dungeon. Full dungeon announcement. Professional player Mo Zhao triggered a special hidden condition. Mist Wolf King boss has entered extreme berserk mode. All monsters in Misty Jungle will respond to the Wolf King's call and enter riot mode. Dampness activated. Dungeon difficulty greatly increased. All kill score rewards are instantly doubled. All contestants prepare for battle, or use a teleport scroll to exit the dungeon immediately. Hearing this broadcast echoing throughout the dungeon, Mo Zhao was completely stunned. What is going on? The introduction for the rookie trial didn't mention anything like this happening. It's one thing for dungeon difficulty to increase, but what the heck is dampness? Mo Zhao didn't stay dazed for long, because the Mist Wolf King that had entered berserk mode was already striding forward on its powerful legs, slowly walking toward him. Those crimson vertical pupils were filled with raw, unrestrained cruelty and savagery. Mo Zhao subconsciously swallowed hard. Right at that moment, two sharp gusts of wind suddenly struck from behind him. Mo Zhao's pupils contracted sharply. He instantly ducked low, almost brushing the ground, pulling off a desperate evasion move. Next second, two mist wild wolves, smaller in size, leaped over his head and viciously landed right in front of him. Mo Zhao didn't even bother turning his head. Acting purely on instinct, he swung backward with two quick slashes. Two invisible blades precisely hit the two wolves that had just landed, before they could even turn around. -816, -816, as two terrifying damage numbers appeared. They didn't even get a chance to scream. Those two sneaky mobs instantly turned to white light, dying on the spot. But just as Mo Zhao instantly killed the two small monsters, the giant figure charged up to him. Mist Wolf King, its massive paw as big as a millstone, carrying a fierce gust that tore through the air, swung ferociously at Mo Zhao's head. Watching that giant paw coming down, nearly the size of a millstone, Mo Zhao's breathing stopped for a moment. The terrifying wind pressure almost made it impossible for him to breathe. Just at the critical moment, Mo Zhao used swift step, instantly turning into a barely visible blur. He quickly ducked low, using a tricky angle, darted directly underneath the massive body of the Mist Wolf King, slipping past. Boom! The Wolf's paw slammed heavily onto where he previously stood. The hard ground cracked instantly. A terrifying claw mark half a meter deep appeared.
And Mo Zhao's figure
Had already moved behind the Mist Wolf King. He didn't hesitate at all, immediately launching his advance. Even though the Wolf King's aggro prevented him from truly hiding, the advanced skill, with its amplified damage for stealth attacks, still worked. Backstab Mo Zhao's eyes turned icy. As soon as he steadied himself, the night dagger in his hand, radiating deadly intent, stabbed fiercely at the Wolf King's defenseless rear. A woo! A howl filled with agonizing pain and rage echoed throughout the jungle. A horrifying damage number, colored red-violet, suddenly appeared above the Wolf King's head. 1,836. Seeing that outrageous number, Mo Zhao was stunned for a moment. Is my damage really this high now? If I could land a critical hit, I'd probably be able to finish this guy instantly. This so-called boss leader turns out not to be that scary after all. Mo Zhao narrowed his eyes slightly. His feet didn't make any extra moves. Not far ahead. That massive Mist Wolf King now looked nothing like its previously arrogant self. Its crimson vertical pupils stared intently at Mo Zhao. Its huge body crouched low, growling a deep, threatening snarl. That last attack, the backstab cut off almost half of its HP bar. The terrifying burst damage shocked awake this enraged jungle overlord.
It finally realized.
The seemingly weak person in front of it was a lethal threat. One man, one wolf. On this clearing covered in decaying leaves, locked in a bizarre standoff. Mo Zhao appeared calm on the surface, but his peripheral vision was locked on his skill panel. In the upper right corner, advanced cooldown, 8 seconds left. Backstab cooldown, 3 seconds left. Once these two damage boosting skills are ready, combined with his insane 8-meter attack range, one more attack would instantly finish off the Wolf King with low HP. No need to risk close combat at all. But just then, the Mist Wolf King suddenly moved. It raised its massive head abruptly, and a wolf howl split the air. Mo Zhao instantly tensed up, lowering his center of gravity, ready to dodge at any moment. With that piercing howl, the heavy gray mist around them began swirling violently. Soon, more than a dozen slim, immature figures, like ghosts, burst out from the mist in every direction, surrounding the Mist Wolf King completely. All were level 8 Mist Wild Wolves. Mo Zhao raised an eyebrow. Can't beat me, so he's calling his minions, summoning the gang to gang up on me. This boss playbook is seriously outdated. Just as Mo Zhao gripped his dagger, ready to strike first and clear out those annoying mobs, a strange scene unfolded. The Mist Wolf King didn't command its wolves to attack Mo Zhao, but instead swung its giant millstone-sized claw with a terrifying ripping force and smashed it straight onto the head of a nearby Mist Wild Wolf. That level 8 Wild Wolf didn't even have time to scream before being instantly killed, turning into starlight and vanishing. Meanwhile, the Wolf King's HP bar, which was half gone, suddenly jumped up a huge chunk. Plus 100, a bright green heal popped up, stinging Mo Zhao's eyes. Damn, Mo Zhao exploded with a curse team killing.
Healing? What kind of twisted skill mechanic is this?
And that's not even the end. The Mist Wolf King's massive body, dashing wildly through the wolf pack, claws swinging non-stop, his health bar is rapidly climbing. In the surrounding mist, new mist wolves keep emerging, rushing up to the Wolf King to die. Meanwhile, Mo Zhao's keen hearing picks up something unusual. Besides the wolves suiciding right in front, from deep in the jungle all around, dense, chaotic footsteps echo. Even the ground beneath trembles slightly. Mo Zhao reacts instantly. The beast tide announced by the system just now isn't just randomly roaming the dungeon, but is charging straight toward the boss's location in the central area. At full speed. Let King Qin drive then. If the beast horde completely surrounds them, this Mist Wolf King will basically have a huge, endless health supply. As long as he has minions nearby,
He can keep absorbing HP.
how could you even? Mo Zhao's mind races. He glances at Qiansheng and Bates, whose cooldowns just ended. No, can't wait any longer. It has to be resolved quickly. If he fully replenishes his health bar, or even stacks other buffs, even with an 8-meter attack range, I'd still be exhausted before him. Mo Zhao hesitates not one bit, suddenly pushes off with full force, directly toward the Mist Wolf King, who is frantically feeding, charges straight ahead, and the Wolf King seems to notice Mo Zhao's movement. He suddenly turns his head. Scarlet vertical pupils lock tightly on target. Mo Zhao completely ignores the health packs around him. The Wolf King savagely lunges toward Mo Zhao. Meanwhile, in another area of the misty forest, Sujinner steps over piles of monster corpses. Her stunning face shows no extra emotion. Her chilly gaze sweeps over the freshly popped system prompt panel. Her elegant brows knit slightly. The Misty Forest Beginner Dungeon is a commonly used trial in Tianyan City. She knows its hidden mechanics well, very well acquainted. The Misty Forest humidity trigger condition is demanding. Before killing the boss leader, a single person must consecutively kill 4 level 10 Wolf King guards. Those 4 guards are notorious for sticking together. Extremely agile, fierce attackers. Even deluxe rookie teams only ever get wiped out by them. She herself has double SS level talents, with overwhelming dominance in space elements. She can naturally do it with ease. But now the person who triggered this hidden condition is Mo Zhao. That guy is supposedly a C-rank pro with mismatched talent. How could they solo 4 level 10 elite monsters? Could the butterfly effect from her rebirth really have grown so much? Sujina shakes her head slightly, clears all those messy thoughts from her mind. She doesn't care why Mo Zhao suddenly got stronger. In this power-driven world, she has absolute confidence. No matter what fortune Mo Zhao has now, and how powerful he's become, it is absolutely impossible to be stronger than her, the former space queen. Just then, the surrounding bush shake violently. Dozens of red-eyed berserk wild boars rush out of the mist in a frenzy. They completely ignore Sujinner's presence and rampage toward the jungle's center. Sujinner gazes coldly. Her slender fingertips flick lightly through the air. A deep spatial ripple instantly spreads around the dozen berserk wild boars. Without warning, the space distorts and folds severely. Barely enough time for a scream. A dozen level 8 monsters are crushed by furious spatial forces, leaving nothing but shredded flesh across the ground. Sujinner doesn't even glance at them. She strides forward with her long legs, picking up speed, heading toward the boss location marked on the map. The hidden condition has been triggered, which means the Mist Wolf King is most likely already targeting Mo Zhao. Although he absolutely didn't think Mo Zhao, the fragile assassin, could solo kill the boss in rage mode, who had also activated the dampening status, he would never allow this boss to fall into someone else's hands. It meant generous trial points and first kill rewards, and was the very first stepping stone to reclaim his peak. Meanwhile, the other contestants inside the Misty Jungle dungeon were also triggered by that sudden server-wide announcement and completely lost their minds. Those rookie teams grinding low-level monsters in the outer regions, struggling with the weakest mobs, immediately stopped what they were doing. Damn, someone started the boss fight. Even the dampening status was triggered. Look quick. The red skull icon at the center of the map just lit up. The reward for killing the boss has doubled. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. All the contestants' eyes turned red with greed. Although they knew the central area was dangerous, greed drives people to risk death, just as birds risk it for food. As long as they could get there in time, catch that guy called Mo Zhao, and let him and the boss wear each other out, they could swoop in and steal the kill. If they landed the final blow on the boss, the huge amount of points would shoot them straight into the top 10 of the trial rankings. Suddenly, throughout the whole Misty Jungle, countless teams completely gave up their original grinding plans. Like sharks smelling blood, they frantically converged toward the center of the jungle. After a few minutes, Mo Zhao's expression really took a turn. His original plan was perfect. Wait for all his skills to come off cooldown. Stack guaranteed crits with weak spot breaker. Then go all out in one burst to finish off the boss. Even his normal attacks were strong enough to interrupt the boss's close-range healing. But this beast decided to throw fair play out the window, and after being exposed, immediately activated Bloodlust Berserk right on the spot. That massive body instantly surged with thick blood-red mist.
Its HP didn't go up again.
But its movement speed and attack power shot up to insane levels. Now, even with his wind step active, Mo Zhao struggled just to dodge the boss's wild assaults. It was barely manageable. Even though all his skills were ready to use, the Wolf King was just way too fast, not giving him any chance to circle behind and land a proper burst attack. Luckily, after some extreme maneuvering and trial attempts, Mo Zhao discovered a mechanic that surprised him. He always thought the sniper's bonus damage only triggered if he maintained enough physical distance. But a few forced close-quarters counterattacks still dealt terrifying 8x damage. As long as his attacks hit, the bonus was always calculated based on a fixed 8-meter attack range on the stat panel. That really eased Mo Zhao's mind. If he had to force an 8-meter distance against an opponent like this, just to position himself to attack, then this talent would be a nightmare early on. But since melee attacks also deal full bonus damage, this boss was down to just its death throws. Just as Mo Zhao gripped his shadow dagger, dodging the Wolf King at the limit, occasionally slashing at it, the Wolf King in turn kept grabbing sacrificial minions and rapidly healing up when suddenly a violent spatial fluctuation came from above. A cold and beautiful silhouette descended from the sky, landing steadily in the clearing beside Mo Zhao. It was Su Jin'er. Her clear, cold eyes caught sight of the enraged Wolf King, and a flicker of surprise showed deep in her gaze. Mo Zhao can actually fight the Wolf King head-on to this extent, and by the looks of things, he even has a slight advantage. He actually forced the Wolf King to resort to devouring its own kind just to stay alive. This is the most troublesome monster in the Misty Jungle. Even as the once Space Empress, with only level 5, killing a Wolf King who triggered both berserks would still take some effort, and there's no way to instantly crush it. Su Jin'er pondered to herself, if his talents are so good this life, maybe taking him along through the apocalypse would improve her chances. In the last apocalypse, the human camp seriously lacked elite solo assassins. Those giant abyssal demons often needed assassins to sever their energy cores. If Mo Zhao truly has that potential, investing in him early wouldn't hurt. That surprise lasted only a moment. Su Jin'er's stunning face returned to its proud and indifferent expression. She hesitated for just a beat, then opened the system panel and sent Mo Zhao a party invitation. You put in a lot of work for this boss? Su Jin'er's tone was icy cold, carrying an unquestionable authority.